San Nicola Arcella is a coastal town in the north and west of the region Calabria, in southern Italy, famous for its crystalline sea and beautifully wild panoramas. Surrounded by high mountains on the back, protected by fierce cliffs at sea, the town rests on a rocky hill. It watches over a small bay, part of a bigger bay, known as the Gulf of Policastro. This welcoming gulf has been inhabited since the Paleolithic, as shown by findings in some of the many natural caves. Then different populations during the centuries alternated their dominion over the area, the most influential being the Greeks. The polis of Laos enjoyed centuries of great prosperity, but it had already declined by the time the Romans arrived to establish their colony of Lavinium. From these ancient cities, the first settlements of Scalea and San Nicola Arcella were born. The town of San Nicola Arcella was in the past just a fraction of the nearby city of Scalea. In the 18th century, the Prince of Scalea decided to build a summer palace looking on the bay, today known as Palazzo dei Principi. The court of the prince followed, and for them a country house was built on the nearby hill, called Il Casale. This country house, and the houses of the local population, formed the first urban nucleus of San Nicola Arcella, what is nowadays the historical centrum, still referred to as Casaletto. The current name was chosen in devotion to San Nicola da Tolentino, and for the position of the town on top of a rock, arx in Latin, from which Arcella. The old town is a maze of little streets and houses emerging from the rocks, fun for travelers to explore. The administration did a great job in refreshing its look in respect of the history and traditions. The bells of the church remind the way to the lost, reverberating through the stones every quarter of the hour, even at night. Local bars and restaurants offer their specialties in the two central squares. The lower part of town connects to the Belvedere through the Corso, touching the municipal parking lot. From various points of the town, especially the Belvedere, the view opens to the mountains and the bay, in a wild explosion of greens and blues. The easiest way of reaching San Nicola Arcella in its bay is by car, coming from the Statale 18. A bus from the railway station of Scalea also reaches the town. From San Nicola Arcella, a shuttle provides transport to the beach below. For the most adventurous, the old path is still accessible, the Via Marina, through a staircase which starts at the old access gate to the town. Another staircase reaches the Via Marina from the parking lot. It is on this path that the visitor has his first encounter with the nature of San Nicola Arcella. From the Via Marina we reach the street below, then the path continues. After a rough start, washed over by a votive niche, the path becomes again a staircase, populated by lizards in search of sun. The atmosphere changes when reaching a bend, near a stream of clear water. The air, suddenly fresher, is filled by fluttering moths and the buzzing of cicadas. The path leads us back to the street, then near the old railway station, now in disuse. At its end we get to the promenade, where the rock had to be excavated to let the cars pass through. We walk to the shoreline. On our right, the north side of the bay, a stony beach protected by high cliffs. Behind it the Isoladino, iconic landmark of the nearby city of Praia Mare. On our left, the south side of the bay, a sandy beach, under the eye of the Torre Crawford, symbol of San Nicola Arcella. In front of us, a lonely rock, nicknamed Scoglio di Fuori. There's the swimmer to reach it. The beach is composed by rocks of different size and color, mixed with pieces of levigated glass. The sea hosts an amazing variety of marine life, which can be discovered with just mask and snorkel. The waters are very salty and inviting, and earned San Nicola the blue flag for 3 years in a row. To explore the rocky parts, a pair of water shoes is advised. The bay also offers other activities, for example gliding. During the summer, many lidi, small sea resorts, open their doors to offer bar and restaurant services, and renting of beach umbrellas. The lidi are mostly found in the northern and southern sides of the beach, with patches of free beach in between. A bigger stretch of public beach is found in the center, where the mountain reaches to touch the sea, and the nature takes over. I like this part and its wilderness. The sea resorts are however nearby and can provide all commodities. A short walk brings us to the southern part of the bay. This can be also reached by car, via a parking lot, which gives access to a staircase leading to the beach. Opposite the staircase, a gate opens up in the mountain. We look inside to find a narrow tunnel, fit for a small car to pass through. This tunnel was dug up to reach the Galleria Torredino, part of the old line of railway connecting San Nicola Arcella to Scalea, built in 1895. The gallery is currently part of a path to reach the parking lot of the southern lidi. The railway continued into the Galleria Casaletto, dug under the town and leading all the way to the station. Above the entrance, what looks like an abandoned cableway reaches from the town on top to the beach below, maybe used in the past for the transport of goods. Once we descend to the beach, the view opens up on a small harbor protected by spectacular rock formations, which can be admired just by walking in the water. A natural pool on the side calls the sunbathers, but be careful, it is also the favorite spot of sea urchins. To complete the visit, lunch at one of the southern lidi is a must. Prices are affordable, and food and view combine for a dreamlike experience. Perhaps it's the Isoladino, seemingly closing the bay and embracing the sea and the viewer. Perhaps the presence of the tower, reminder of ancient times and stories. This watchtower from the 16th century is part of a series of more than 300 towers, all disposed in view from each other, so that they could act as beacons in case of attack from pirates or invaders. This particular tower has been for decades the fascination of Francis Marion Crawford, an American writer born in Italy and in love with the Iranian coast. He found the bay one day while sailing on his yacht, and from then the tower became his summer refuge. Between his many works, he also wrote in 1880 a horror story taking place in San Nicola Arcella, by the title For the Blood is the Life. In it, Crawford is a guest at the tower, and after dinner tells him the story of Christina, a local girl turned vampire whose grave the writer identifies in a mound on the hillside of the tower. And as she glided beside him, Christina whispered strange, sweet things in his ear. And she kissed him also, but not upon his mouth. He felt her sharp kisses upon his white throat, and he knew that her lips were red. Crawford also gives a small description of the tower, alone on this hooked spur of a rock, and the view from its roof. We had dined at sunset. The sunset glow had reddened and faded again, and the evening purple steeped the vast chain of the mountains that embrace the deep gulf to eastward, and reared themselves higher and higher toward the south. It was hot, and we sat at the landward corner of the platform, waiting for the night breeze to come down from the lower hills. The watchtower has been since known as Torre Crawford. To reach it, we need to pass through one of the many hidden beaches of San Nicola, just beyond the rocks of the southern beach. We can do so by swimming, or we can reach the corresponding parking lot by car, and then go down the staircase to the Lido da Fonte. This Lido takes its name from an old water spring, opened up at the behest of Crawford himself. The staircase to reach the tower starts just beside the spring. From the path and the tower, a magnificent panorama opens up. Behind the tower, another couple of hidden beaches open on their private little bay, between the Torre and the Palazzo. The whole coast is full of secret spots, one more beautiful than the other. The most famous are San Nicola Arcella, the jewel of the crown, definitely being the Arcomagno. Although always praised, its popularity recently boosted as the wildest beach in Calabria. This secluded strand is found beyond the rocks of the northern side. The easiest way to reach it is by sea, for example renting a paddle boat at one of the lidi. The other way to reach it is the most spectacular, due to the stunning views that the path affords. It is by going up the cliff, on a staircase cut through the northern rocks of the Marina beach. This path can also be partially walked on Google Street View. A second path goes via another staircase on the opposite side of the cliff and then passing through the Beach of the Priest. But let's start in order. The staircase begins near the Arco degli Caduti, so called because of the rocks which have fallen down during the centuries. The rocks all around the bay are in fact secured with metal nets. For safety reasons, the path to the Arcomagno might be closed. Better to check with the locals first. The staircase is locked at night. Visitors should return back before sunset. As we go up, we get a stunning view of the bay. Peculiar rocks constellate the ascension. On top of the staircase, an easy path runs along the cliff. The strong aromas of the local plants complete the sensorial experience. As we proceed, the path becomes rougher, but we also get a glimpse of the coast on the other side. We walk further to notice an opening in the rock on our left. It's the Arco di Enea, not to confuse with the Arcomagno, on which we are actually standing. This arch is less famous, but equally spectacular, as we will see later. We go down the staircase and to the right to reach the Arcomagno. First thing we notice is a big cave, the Grotta del Saraceno, used in the past as hideout by the Saracens, but not only. The cave hosts a small source of sweet water, which the animals know how to find. On our right opens the spectacle of the Arcomagno. This 20 meters high arch protects a small beach in the shape of a crescent moon. The path we walked on passes on top of the arch. Although not easy to reach, during peak season the beach can be very crowded. It is however an unmissable feature of San Nicola Arcella, and you might be lucky if you plan your visit right. The air here is a bit chillier than in other locations, due to the arch casting its shade. We retrace our steps back to the sun to go on the left side of the staircase and better look at the Arco di Enea. Legend says that Enea, the mythical progenitor of Rome, made a stop here in his travel from Troy, thus the name. Certainly it is a dazzling location for anyone who might visit. Yet the big fallen rocks and other signs tell us it is best not to indulge here. The staircase is also in a bad shape. In the past a gallery on the side of a cliff used to connect the two arches, but it is now closed for safety reasons. The easiest way to visit both arches in one go is just through the water. As mentioned, the arches can also be reached from another staircase, on the side of Praia Mare. We first need to reach the parking lot of El Lido dei Gabbiani, where the staircase begins. The Lido also offers a boat service, if you'd prefer to skip the staircase. However, the walking path is again an experience in itself, starting with a magnificent view of the Isola d'Ino and the Torre di Fiuzzi. The path here is an easy one and very enjoyable. On the other side of the cliff, the Spiaggia del Prete shows its full glory. This is also a hidden beach, only accessible by foot or sea, but much larger than the ones earlier shown, so that it is always possible to find a comfortable spot. Beautiful rock formations adorn it, like the Scoglio dello Scorzone. At its back we have again a breath of nature, at the feet of the mounts, forming a gorge opening on the water. At the end of the staircase, a bar restaurant offers food and refreshments in the alluring Grotta del Prete. The Arco di Enea awaits us at the other end. If we walk further from the beach, we get another look of the local flora. Where the cliff meets the water again, we find the arch. Beyond it, a small pool of blue water and the beach of fallen rocks that separates it from the Arcomagno. It is easy to find in this area exemplaries of sea fennel and other plants undisturbed by people and animals. Sea fennel is a forgotten vegetable, once collected and consumed on the coasts of all Europe, an important resource for sailors to prevent scurvy for its high content in vitamin C. Collect the young parts of the plant, better before flowering, from clean spots of the coast. Boil them, then add them to a batter of flour, egg and water, then fry. Dry up and sprinkle with salt. The fritters are deliciously aromatic and crunchy, perfect side dish to a fish dinner. As dusk falls on San Nicola Arcella, the bella di notte slowly open up. Silent inhabitants of the town come out to enjoy the sea breeze, cooling down the alleys. It is the best moment to explore the narrow streets, dressed by the dark in a mysterious charm. Life blooms in the old casaletto. The night is a feast for tourists and vampires. When the sun sank burning into the sea, and the coolness of the evening stole out as from a hiding place to delight the weary world, his feet turned toward the old way, and she was waiting for him.